Murray broke down in tears today as he revealed that he will end his incredible tennis career at Wimbledon later this year after failing to overcome a devastating hip injury in an emotional press conference. The two-time Wimbledon champion, 31, revealed that the pain was so great that the Australian Open, which starts on Monday, could be the last tournament he ever plays, and he said that he hopes to go on until Wimbledon this summer but feels that even that may be a bridge too far, with the pain becoming so unbearable that he was struggling to even put on socks or shoes. The Scot, who was thrashed in a practice match by Novak Djokovic yesterday, still plans to take his place in the Melbourne draw. But he could not rule out walking away from the sport if he loses in the first round. It would bring down the curtain on one of the great British sporting careers, one that has seen him win 3 Grand Slams, 2 Olympic golds and the Davis Cup. The announcement was met with shock and sadness from the tennis world, with former icons such as Billie Jean King and Andy Roddick calling the Brit a great champion and absolute legend. Murray, a father of 2, began his press conference by stating, "I'm not great," in a broken tone when asked how he was feeling after an 18-month battle to return to the sport. He then became emotional and left the room for several minutes to compose himself. And on returning laid bare in heartbreaking detail how the pain in his hip meant he had stopped enjoying the sport he loved. A British great, Andy Murray. Facts: born May 15, 1987. Height 6 foot 3 feet. Wife, Kim Sayers. Children, Sophia, 2, Edie, 15 months, turned professional. 2005 Grand Slam titles. 3, Wimbledon 2013, 2016, US Open 2012, career wins. 663 career titles. 45 highest ranking, world number 1 current ranking, world number 230. It seems that his dream of his daughters being able to watch him seriously compete is now, sadly, at an end. Obviously I have been struggling a long time and I have been in pain for about 20 months now, he said. I've pretty much done everything that I could to try and get my hip feeling better, and it hasn't helped. I'd seem in a better place than I was 6 months ago, but still in a lot of pain. It's been tough. I'm going to play here. I can still play to a certain level, not a level I'm happy playing at. It's not just that. The pain is too much, really. I don't want to continue playing that way. I've tried pretty much everything I could do, but it hasn't worked. In the middle of December I spoke to my team and told them I couldn't keep doing this. I thought I need to have an end point, because I was playing with no idea of when the pain was going to stop. He said to them, maybe I could get through this until Wimbledon. That is where I would like to stop playing, but I am also not certain I am able to do that. Asked whether this could turn out to be his last event, he replied, "There's a chance of that for sure." Murray would love to be able to take his final bow on the center court, but things have got so bad that he may not get to depart at the time and place of his choosing. I'm not sure I'm able to play through the pain for another 4 or 5 months. I have considered another operation that is a little more severe than the one he had this time last year. He could have my hip resurfaced, which would allow me a better quality of life. I'm seriously considering that right now, but there's no guarantees with it. It would be nice to do things without any pain, putting shoes and socks on. That would be the main reason for me doing it. Sir Andy Murray's most memorable matches: 2008, Wimbledon, 4th round, BT Richard Gasquet 5-7, 3-6, 7-6, 7-3, 6-2, 6-4. The match that established Murray's reputation for never giving up. The 21-year-old was 2 sets and a breakdown before recovering to reach the quarterfinals of a Grand Slam for the first time. The backhand down the line during the 3rd set tiebreak that left him almost in the crowd is arguably his most memorable shot. 2011, Japan Open, Final, BT Rafael Nadal 3-6, 6-2, 6-0. Having lost to Nadal in 3 successive Grand Slam semifinals, Murray produced one of his best ATP Tour performances, coming from a set down to defeat the great Spaniard with a fine display of attacking tennis. 2012, Olympic Games, gold medal match, BT Roger Federer 6-2, 6-1, 6-4. 4 weeks after his heartbreaking Wimbledon final loss to Federer, Murray played arguably the greatest match of his career to claim his first global title. Admittedly, he was facing a tired Federer, but this was complete domination in front of a raucous and disbelieving center court crowd. 2012 U.S. Open Final BT Novak Djokovic 7-6, 12-10, 7-5, 2-6, 3-6, 6-2 in his fifth final. Murray finally won a Grand Slam title in fittingly dramatic fashion. It looked like he might have blown his chance when Djokovic fought back from 2 sets down to level, but the Scot was not to be denied. 2013 Australian Open Semis BT Federer 6-4, 6-7, 5-7, 6-3, 6-7, 2-7, 6-2 going for a second successive Slam title. Murray secured his only Slam victory over Federer. Although it took 5 sets, the Swiss was hanging on to Murray with his fingernails for most of the match and was helpless in the 5th set. 2013 Wimbledon Final BT Djokovic 6-4, 7-5, 6-4. The most important match of Murray's career was a fitting way for the Scot to end Fred Perry's 77-year reign as the last home men's singles winner. Superb throughout, the final game was a match in itself before Murray at last got his hands on the golden trophy. 2015 Davis Cup Final BT David Goffin 6-3, 7-5, 6-3. Of all Murray's many wonderful achievements, winning the Davis Cup for Great Britain virtually single-handed in 2015 might well be the best of them. It was fitting he should win the final point against Belgium in Ghent, sealed with a stunning lob. 2016 French Open Semis BT Stan Wawrinka 6-4, 6-2, 4-6, 6-2. The match that showed Murray had conquered clay as he knocked out the defending champion to reach his only final at Roland Garros. 2016 Wimbledon Final BT Milos Raonic 6-4, 7-6, 7-3, 7-6, 7-2. For the first time in his 11 Slam finals, Murray found someone other than Federer or Djokovic on the other side of the net. From the start, he stamped his authority on first-time finalist Raonic and did not let up. 2016 Olympics Gold Medal Match BT won Martin Del Potro 7-5, 4-6, 6-2, 7-5. This grueling, emotional victory in Rio gave Murray something none of his illustrious rivals have managed, as he became the first tennis player to successfully defend an Olympic singles title. He sounded very pessimistic that it would be the kind of surgery that would allow him to play again. He even ruled out the idea of becoming a doubles player, which would require less movement. Murray saw his Australian surgeon John O'Donnell on Thursday, the same man who operated on him on January 8 last year. "I have a severely damaged right tip," was Murray's conclusion. "The pain is not allowing me to enjoy competing." Also spoke of the mental turmoil of having to answer questions about his health. "Everyone I bump into, that's all they want to talk about. It's pretty draining. I have spoken to psychologists about it. It's not fun or enjoyable." Murray's career highlights include 2 Wimbledons, a U.S. Open title and 2 Olympic gold medals. At London and Rio he also carried Great Britain to victory in the 2015 Davis Cup, winning 11 matches over 4 rounds under the old format. Grand Slams were what would go on to define any great champion, but Murray quickly excelled at the Olympics, first in front of a home crowd at London 2012, beating Roger Federer, before collecting his second with victory over Martin Del Potro. Sir Andy Murray's career by numbers. 1 Murray became the first British singles player ever to officially be ranked world number 1 on November 7, 2016, 41. The number of weeks the Scot spent on top of the rankings: 3 Grand Slam titles, 11 Grand Slam finals, 45 career singles titles, 2 doubles titles, both with brother Jamie, 9 singles titles in 2016, including 5 in a row to end the season as world number 1, 2 Olympic singles gold medals, 11. Murray won all 11 rubbers he contested to drive Great Britain to Davis Cup glory in 2015, an unprecedented feat. 663 tour-level matches, won $47,887,068 career prize money, 3 Only person to be named BBC Sports Personality of the Year 3 times 5,573 aces, served 29 combined wins against Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic, but the maiden slam title was the big breakthrough, and it came across the Atlantic. His first Grand Slam brought with it plenty of history, as his success at Flushing Meadows saw him end Britain's 76-year wait for a male Grand Slam singles champion. The epic 7-6, 12-10, 7-5, 2-6, 3-6, 6. 2 victory over Novak Djokovic in the U.S. Open final lasted 4 hours and 54 minutes in New York, but was a sign that the Briton was a big player at the top of the game. Wimbledon remained the one he craved so dearly, and 12 months on from his success in the Olympic Games, he was back on center court with the trophy in his hands. A clinical 6-4, 7-5, 6-4 win over Djokovic was a stylish way to give those in attendance memories that will not have faded to this day. SW19 is where Murray wants to end his career now, and where he feels most at home. Building on the decisive 2013 win over Djokovic, Murray collected his second Wimbledon singles title 3 years later with victory against big-serving Canadian Milos Raonic. However, it now appears that it is purely a question of whether he can get through the next few weeks, let alone recapture former glory's. Reaction to the news was swift on Thursday night, with America's former world number 1 Andy Roddick leading the way. He took to Twitter, writing, "I tip my cap to Andy Murray. Absolute legend. Short list of best tacticians in history. Unreal results in a brutal era. Nothing but respect here. I hope he can finish strong and healthy." Tennis coach Darren Cahill added, "When you search for examples of emptied the bucket to be as good as they could be, there should be a picture of Andy Murray sitting under that quote. Remarkable discipline for training, competition, sacrifice, perfection, a little crazy, but a legend of a bloke. Bravo." And the former women's world number 1 Tracy Austin, speaking on Tennis TV, said, "It was just really hard to watch Andy practice on Wednesday. It was a practice match against Novak Djokovic, and it was 6-1, 4-1, and he wasn't really moving. He is giving it every shot in the off-season to come back after hip surgery. Such a good guy, and Djokovic even tried to help him. It is really tough to hear the news." Women's ace Donna Vekic simply tweeted the praying hands and a sad face emoji as she reacted to the news in the early hours of Friday morning. Timeline of Andy Murray's trouble with injury. June 9, 2017. Murray puts shaky form going into the French Open behind him to reach the semi-finals before losing to Swiss ace Stan Wawrinka, but begins to feel the flare-up of a long-standing hip issue that had previously been under control. June 27, 2017. Murray does not mention his hip problem after losing his first match at Queen's to Jordan Thompson, but is forced to publicly acknowledge it when he pulls out of a scheduled exhibition match at the Hurlingham Club, a move cited as precautionary. July 2, 2017. After pulling out of a second Hurlingham match, Murray calms fears he may be forced to miss Wimbledon by confirming on the eve of the tournament that he will play July 12, 2017. Walking with a noticeable limp, Murray battles his way into the quarterfinals, but his title defense ends with a 5-set loss to Sam Querrey. Afterwards, Murray insists he does not expect to be away from the tour for too long. August 26, 2017. After pulling out of 2 Masters events and losing his world number 1 ranking to Rafael Nadal, Murray travels to New York intending to return at the U.S. Open. But 2 days before the tournament, he announces at a press conference that he is pulling out, saying his hip is too sore to give him a chance of winning the tournament. September 6, 2017. Murray heads home for further consultations with a number of hip specialists, then announces he is likely to miss the rest of the year but is hoping to avoid surgery. January 2, 2018. Murray schedules the Brisbane International for his second attempt at a comeback, only to pull out on the eve of his first match. In a heartfelt post on Instagram accompanied by a childhood photo, Murray says, "I choose this pic as the little kid inside me just wants to play tennis and compete. I genuinely miss it so much and I would give anything to be back out there." January 8, 2018. Murray announces he has undergone hip surgery in Melbourne. In an upbeat assessment, He says surgeon John O'Donnell is very happy and that he is targeting a return for the grass court season March 28, 2018. Murray posts his first picture on social media, after returning to on-court training at Patrick Mouratoglou's Academy in Nice May 8, 2018 after Murray does not enter a challenger tournament in Glasgow that had been earmarked for his return. It emerges he has suffered a setback in his recovery and has been forced to take more time away from the court. June 5, 2018 Murray says he is getting closer to a return but pulls out of his scheduled first grass event of the season at the Libema Open in Holland June 16, 2018 after 2 weeks back on court. Murray announces just before the draw that he will make his comeback at the Fever Tree Championships at Queen's Club June 19, 2018. A lengthy 342 days since his last competitive outing, Murray finally makes it back on court in the Fever Tree Championships against Nick Kyrgios. He puts up a good fight but eventually loses his first round match 2-6, 7-6, 7/4, 7-5. June 25, 2018 Murray beats Wawrinka at Eastbourne but is then comfortably dispatched in the round of 16 by British number 1 Kyle Edmund as he continues to feel his way back into games. July 30, 2018 Murray fans grow in confidence at the Scots' increased participation and a run to the quarter-finals, where he is beaten due to a walkover for Alex de Minaur, suggests he is slowly on the rise again. August 13, 2018 A first-round exit to Lucas Powell shows that Murray is struggling to recapture the form that saw him go on to win Wimbledon twice as his hip issues see him hold back in 3-set match. August 30, 2018. In only his fifth tournament back since returning from hip surgery, Murray falters in 4 sets against Fernando Verdasco 7-5, 2-6, 6-4. 6-4 in the U.S. Open second round as the sweltering conditions did little to help his cause. His noticeable limp between points became more and more obvious as the points rolled on. September 28, 2018 A quarter-final defeat in Shenzhen to Verdasco sees Murray call time on the 2018 season as he takes time away to get himself in the best possible condition for the 2019 Australian Open. December 27, 2018 Despite some time away since losing to Verdasco in Asia, Murray admits the pain is still prominent as he prepares to play in the Brisbane International, a warm-up tournament for the Australian Open. In his last 16 tie against Russian star Daniil Medvedev, Murray is comfortably beaten 7-5, 6-2 as fears grow over the condition of his hip. January 10, 2019 leaves Australian Open press conference in tears and suggests his time in Melbourne could be his last Grand Slam tournament due to the pain being too much to continue playing. Through related articles. Previous one. Next, my goal was always to play as long as possible. Roger. Andy Murray frustrated in Melbourne as practice match with Tennis Guide, everything you need to know for the Australian. I'm sorry I couldn't be more entertaining today, Andy. Andy Murray handed tough draw against world number 23 Roberto. Forget about Australian Open glory, victory for Andy. Share this article. Share 8.7k shares.